Thanks, Kalina. In the wake of Southern California's deadly and devastating fires, the state's insurance commissioner is now facing questions about why he took a trip last week to Bermuda for a conference with insurance executives. Commissioner Ricardo Lara was asked to appear in Sacramento at a hearing with state lawmakers, but he instead chose to go to Bermuda. In a statement, a spokesperson told us that nearly 40% of the world's reinsurance companies are based in Bermuda, paying out trillions of dollars in claims, including those for wildfires, and added that the commissioner delivered a keynote address aimed at guaranteeing insurance companies continue to write policies here in California. But critics are questioning his focus. We made multiple requests for an on-camera interview with Lara. He was supposed to speak with us over the weekend, but canceled. Meantime, he's also facing another controversy, provisionally approving State Farm's request to raise home insurance premiums by 22%. And I've been following this story closely and certainly the controversy behind it. Next month, State Farm will present its argument to a judge during a public hearing, laying out why it says it needs a 22% rate hike here in California. But some consumer advocates say the insurer really doesn't need the money, it's just being greedy. So joining me now is Carmen Balber, the executive director of Consumer Watchdog. And Carmen, thank you so much for joining us. You know, I think a lot of people are wondering, do you think State Farm will have that rate increase approved by a judge?
The good news for consumers is that the insurance commissioner ordered the company to go to a public hearing. And not only the Department of Insurance, but Consumer Watchdog will be at that hearing, will be arguing the public's case, that the insurance company has not yet justified that quote-unquote emergency rate hike they're asking for. And I think that Californians who are all struggling after the fires and struggling to get coverage around the state really question whether State Farm needs another cash infusion from consumers, especially when the company recently had to fire an executive for belittling the fire victims and suggesting that they were asking for rate hikes and threatening to leave the state in order to leverage them.
Now, Lara has said, as a provision of them getting that increase, that they will not cancel any policies or not renew policies for a year. Do you think that's enough of a trade-off?
Definitely not. In fact, Commissioner Lara tried to offer that deal to its State Farm. State Farm refused to take it, and that's part of the reason why we ended up at this hearing. Now, the bad news for consumers is that Insurance Commissioner Lara kind of showed his hand. He suggested, if you just do these two things, we'll give you this rate hike. But at this point, State Farm has the money it needs to pay its claims. It's not in trouble for the LA fires, and it has sent billions of dollars out of state to its parent company. We believe the parent company, not consumers in California who have already paid massive rate hikes, should be stepping in if State Farm is in trouble because of their own financial mismanagement.
Okay, so now let's say State Farm gets this 22% increase. What is that going to mean for all the other insurers? Are they going to then come and say, hey, you did it for State Farm, we want it too? And then what does that mean for us, the people paying these premiums?
That's a real danger. It would set a terrible precedent if the insurance commissioner rolls to threats and bullying from the insurance industry. That is, however, why we think it's a really good thing that this rate hearing will be held before an independent administrative law judge at the Department of Insurance who's going to make a decision based on the facts, not threats by State Farm.
So explain how this hearing works. Will members of the public be able to, they'll be able to watch, obviously, but will, say, Consumer Watchdog or other groups be able to say anything, or is it just between State Farm and the judge?
So it's a court hearing, not like a hearing where the public might go and make public comment. Consumer Watchdog will be able to participate and ask questions because we are a party to that proceeding. We challenged State Farm's request for a rate hike all the way back last summer when they made one. And we've been part of the process ever since, seeking information from State Farm, like basic information like how much have you paid out in claims? The company has still refused to provide. So we'll be there at the table thanks to California's insurance protections under Prop 103 that say the public also deserves a seat at the table when insurance companies are seeking huge rate hikes.
And I think that's really important to point out. California is a very consumer-friendly state. We have greater protections when it comes to these rate hikes than other states. And in fact, we've seen even higher rate hikes in some of the surrounding states like Texas and Nevada. Since you've been through this, what do you foresee the judge doing, or do you not have a feeling?
It's hard to predict. We believe the law is very clear that State Farm with the data so far at least, has not justified this rate increase. If nothing new comes forward, the judge should reject it. At the same time, he's got a boss. That boss is Commissioner Lara. Lara recently put on leave a judge who disagreed with him. So there might be some concern from that judge that there would be retribution for an action that goes against the commissioner's wishes. Hopefully, it's all above board. The commissioner doesn't pressure anyone. The judge is free to make a decision on their own. And given the facts so far, the rate increase isn't justified.
Okay, well, that hearing on April 4th, we'll see how it all plays out. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Carmen.